Merhaba internet. Bugün nasılsın?
Hello, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, what language was that this time?
That was Turkish.
Turkish.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you sung Turkish or if you
I
got it
don't
good,
know either,
but I hope you
cause
didn't butcher the people's language.
I just repeated what Google Translate said, and I actually got some help from some native people on High Native
Oh, wow, you really
to
went all
not
out.
for the pronunciation though, just for how you say how are you doing today in
Okay.
Turkish.
It
And that's what they
sounded
told me.
okay. I believe you.
Okay.
So, Kim, what are you drinking?
I am drinking it's chamomile by Benner.
Okay.
It is okay, so I was a little shocked. Um the fragrance is there. It's really there when you put in the hot water. It comes
Uh-huh.
right up and it smells like chamomile and it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The smell
But
is really good. There's no but. It's just a light chamomile.
so it tastes bad.
No, I like it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm drinking Lipton green tea.
I wasn't done, but okay.
I'm sorry, but it's terrible.
Okay.
it's it's weak. It's extremely weak for a green tea.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. It's it's like if I'm just drinking hot water that's slightly flavored with green tea.
I tried it just now and it
Yeah.
doesn't feel lightly
Mm.
flavored with green tea. It feels lightly flavored with cane sugar.
I don't know what
It
that
does it
is.
tastes like hot water with sugar.
That is terrible.
Isn't that what it tastes like? That's what
Yes.
it tastes like to me.
Like, ugh, that was
Anyhow,
a
the
waste of
reason
my
why
time.
I was expecting mine not to smell so great because sometimes after you use I don't know if you do it, hold on. I smell the package or the container or the bag or whatever it is that the tea bag or the tea leaves came in. I smell it before.
And to see if
So,
it's great,
yeah, to see if it smells good,
I don't
just
know.
plain by itself without the
Sometimes,
hot water. And the package that the chamomile tea bag came in, it had like this like I don't know, like raw kind of smell. It was smelling like chamomile, but it had a raw kind of smell. But then when I added the hot water, it didn't smell like that. So that's why I thought it was going to be bad at first.
uh, from what I've tasted, it's very, very meh.
Everything is messy, though.
That's like I don't know. I just prefer my things having a nice, strong taste. I
I know
don't
you like
mind
strong,
weak or
bold
mild. I
flavors.
don't mind weaker tasting things, but that doesn't taste great. This doesn't taste great. They just well, this is devoid of any um green tea flavor.
Right.
Period. And that over there, I can taste the chamomile, but it's just so weak.
Well, chamomile in the first place is a mellow
I
kind
know,
of
but you just said yourself that it's kind of a lighter, like weaker
but it's
tasting version.
still good. I
It's
don't
it's fine. It's middle of the road. It's five
okay.
out of 10.
Okay then. Anyway, so we watched Alice in Borderland
Yeah,
this week, or was it
yeah.
last week, or whenever?
It was some time.
Right. And
All right,
how do you feel about it?
let's just state the premise of the show.
About Alice in Wonderland? I
Alice
mean
in
Borderland.
Alice in Borderland stars a guy who, along with his friends, get teleported or sent to an alternative Japan, centered around the Tokyo area, right? And they have to play games or they die. And when you complete a game, you get a card, and that is all it really is from the get go. It's essentially what is known as a death game series. It's always common. Nowadays, there's always have a cell phone. Everybody either has powers or they don't have powers, or there's somebody who's scheming to kill all the players in the death game. It's mostly murder mystery type of thing. But the show makes sure that we know that the main character is smart.
Right.
His name is Arisu. That's his family's name. Because this is a Japanese show on Netflix based on the manga of the same name, Alice in Borderland. See, Arisu in Borderland, essentially. Terrible, I know. I see you cringing, but yes. Yes, that's the name.
Adisu.
So therefore,
Adisu.
Alice in Borderland. And so he and his friends get sent into this world. We see all their past. His friend Karub, what's his name?
Karube.
Karube. He's seen more as the jockish, get into fights type of guy. He's seen kissing
Probably
somebody.
not jock,
Not
but
jockish,
maybe
but you know,
delinquent.
yeah, yeah. Delinquent type when he has his hair dyed, that type of thing. His
It
other
could be his
friend,
natural color,
yeah,
you know.
blonde. Okay, never mind. Natural color my ass. His friend Shota is he has all put together, but he has overly weird religious upbringing that we'll talk about a little bit later. And for Urisu's quick little backdrop, we see that he's all into like geometry and
Physics
physics
and
and all
stuff.
that. You know how they make a character to show that they're smart. He's playing a app on his phone, and guess what it is? It's a Rubik's Cube app. It's a common trope where to show us that somebody's smart in a show or a series or whatever, you have them solve a Rubik's Cube. That means the person is using their brain.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the show does all those cliche things to show us that Arisu's smart because the deaf game has a whole bunch of puzzles that you need to solve most of the time or just figure out. And Arisu, being our titular main character, needs to be a smart cookie to solve them. Okay? Yeah.
Just call him Alice from now on.
Alice. Yeah. Well, call him Alice. Yeah. So, let's just talk about how we can do this. Like, just break down episode by episode and just speed through it.
Yeah.
Alright. So, how does episode one continue? Right?
Episode is that they get disappeared and then they're like they go and search the whole of Tokyo because everyone it
There's
seems that
Shibuya.
everyone just
Yeah.
disappears after they went into the restroom.
Yep.
So they searched back at home and back at their workplaces and stuff like that and they can't find anyone.
Until they see a light or something like that.
Yes, it gets late and
There's no electricity, by the way. Electricity, anything that runs on electricity doesn't work for some reason.
right. So they see a light and they go towards it and they see an arrow. This thing says that the game is in that direction and they follow it into the building and then they see the
Yes, they
phones
see the phones. And
and it says one per each
yes,
person.
yes.
And then other people come
Yeah,
behind them. A
yeah.
lady, a schoolgirl. Was there anyone else?
No, it was
It was
just
just a
those
lady and a
five.
schoolgirl
Just,
and the three of them.
yeah.
And then they enter into the first game.
The lady acts like she knows what is going on, and they never ask her how she knows what is going on.
Exactly. They
But
just go
they just
along.
go inside and they just figure out that it's a game where you have to exit doors. And then Arisu shows off his smarts, I guess.
He like measured the car
Yeah, he
and
knows how long the car is from
right
previous
from
knowledge.
walking beside it
Uh
or
huh.
whatever.
And he figured out how big the building
Right,
was. Right.
right.
So after the first girl who went through one of the wrong doors, since
The
two doors, the
schoolgirl, yeah.
death and the life door, ugh, the death and the life door, and you're supposed to choose one before the time is up, or the room is gonna light on fire. So Arisu is so smart. He realizes that we just have to figure out what room is what room to get out via the geometry of the building.
Right.
and he writes out a map, and they go through, and they. I.
In any case, the four of them survived.
That lady, what's your name was now?
Her name was Shibuki.
Shibuki, yes, yes, right? Shibuki, yes. So Shibuki, Shota, Karube, and Alice figure out that this and get out. They get out. They try to get the first challenge, and they get out. Whoop de do. You see that Aris is smart. Shota got hurt, so he's now like
Injured.
injured on his leg because got hit by some fire. And they figure out, oh, this is a death game, and some dude showed up, and all right, if you complete the game, you get a visa. So
Right.
that's the whole thing. That's what makes people
You
happy
also
to
get the
games.
cards, but they didn't, I guess they didn't realize that the cards were important in the beginning.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't know that. One thing I have to ask though, if
What?
they never went to the game, what would happen?
Yeah, I
Because
wonder too. See, this is the thing. There has to be some people who didn't
I guess they just got auto killed then normally.
really.
I don't because the only reason you can die from
Is
the
if your
system
visa goes out
is
or
if your
if you
visa
like
goes
that
out.
girl in the end.
Yeah, that's the only way. Is if your visa runs out. But if you never got a visa,
Then you shouldn't be in the system, kind of.
but I mean that doesn't mean that the system can't just start up and kill you. Maybe
That's true.
I don't know. It seems I think it they know that in that situation all new players will probably go towards the light anyways. If you're just dragged into some weird place where the electricity's out, there's nobody around, you're going to head towards the one place where you see some light. The trap is just that light up, oh, let's head over there, and then the game they realize the game and then they're stuck. So I guess you will always end up having to depend on the system and get a visa and keep playing games.
In any case, episode one ends.
With that guy dying talking about his visa. That just
Which guy?
random. Random
Right,
dude.
the guy in the alley.
Yeah. When they escaped the building. This show is something else.
And then episode
Episode
two.
2. Right, they're trying to figure out things and they learned that Shibuki had been there before.
Right, she has experience with the games
Exactly. And she
and
played a
the
game
world.
before where everybody died and she was the
Right.
last survivor. And also that time is moving differently there because when he opened up a car door searching for things, he realized that the food had already been uh, deteriorating over time, even though they had
Yeah.
just been there for a day. So they're trying to put together how the game works or whatever and whatnot.
That's one of the things I didn't really understand
What?
later on about the food. But anyway, I guess
I
we'll
don't know.
get
It was
there.
just something to show you that the world, the time that you come from, and the time in the world is different. I guess because Shibuki they didn't say how long she was there, and because we already meet other characters that were there even longer as
Right.
well. So yeah.
Anyhow, so we see that Chota is injured and he can't participate in the next game,
Mm-hmm.
which is a game of tag with Alice and Karube.
Going to the game and leaving Shibuku to take care
Shibuki,
of Shibuki
right.
to take care
And
of Shota.
she tries to like manipulate him and they do the deed
They fuck.
and I I didn't get anything from it, but Chota was like going kind of not crazy, but because of his cult
With
upbringing,
his mom and all that weird stuff.
yeah,
He was
he
having his
started
own
to,
flashbacks and all that jazz.
yeah,
It really didn't do anything.
yeah.
It it's something that happened and it's weird, doesn't it?
I think it was the nails in his coffin, really. Just showing that stuff is like telling us that he's going to die, kind of, you know?
He was already injured, so he couldn't participate. And he started going crazy, and then got pity sex by
Yeah.
Shibuki. Ugh. and she was trying. That was so kind of. I get
It
why she
was,
would do it, but at the same time,
I don't actually get why she would do
you
it,
see
but I
how
guess she would have
you
done
saw
it
her for her own flashback. She slept with the guy,
her
her boss,
boss.
so she could get promoted. So I think that was the whole thing, is that she would sleep with anybody to get her ahead, and to survive, she would even sleep with somebody with Chota. In my opinion, I would try to manipulate one of the ones that can
Yeah,
actually
do
do
something.
something,
Yeah, we
like
talked about
Alice
that,
or
right?
Carib. Yeah,
It's
Shibuki.
kind of useless to have sex with an injured person.
Yeah, I think she was doing it more to just curry favor with Chota,
Why though?
because
He's
she
the weakest link. He
exactly, he's
cannot
the
do
weakest link.
anything.
Therefore, his friends will look out for him. And
Yeah, but
if it's looked at that she is taking care of it, they're more likely not keep her around in any event. That was why.
it was very sad. She, like, I don't know if it was pity sex, but I also pitied the both of them when it showed. I was just like,
It wasn't
this is
sexy.
sad.
It wasn't
This is
sexy because
sad.
Chota was like crying
And
and praying.
praying, yeah, it was
It
sad.
was very unsexy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know about some people cry during sex, but not like that.
And some people say that it's so beautiful. I'm just like,
Yikes. That is
you're into that stuff. That's good for
no.
you. Good
It
for you.
wasn't. It was just
Everyone
sad.
has a thing.
Mm.
Anyway, so the game of tag.
Yes.
In the game of tag, we get introduced to, I think his name is Chishia, the white hair dude.
Yes, the white hair dude.
And he is one of the
Important.
smarter people.
So we get introduced to the main female lead,
Usagi.
Usagi, which means
Rabbit.
rabbit. So we have Alice and we have the rabbit. So,
I think Chishia is supposed to be something as well.
I think he's
Is he the
supposed to be
cat or
the
something?
Cheshire
The
cat.
Cheshire cat,
You
right?
see, get it?
I
Because
think so too.
of what happens along the road, he kind of is that type of archetype.
Yeah, kind of like conniving, kind of like behind your back,
Kind of
kind of,
lying,
yeah,
double wording what you're saying, meaning one thing but doing the next.
right, right.
That type of shit. So yeah, I think he's the Cheshire cat. Hence his name is
Anyhow, his
Chichigas.
introduction was good.
It's kind of lame. He didn't really do
He
much.
didn't do anything, but still not bad.
Well, we get introduced to another host of characters.
The
Army looking
military
dude,
guy.
military looking dude.
What is his name?
Agony.
Agony,
We only
right.
learned that like later, but
Sounds like agony.
it. I think that's
It's like
the intention.
agony,
Yes, agony.
but it's agony.
I think that's the whole point. I think.
What's that?
So they go through. They have their. They get chased by people with a gun and a mask on. We learned that the cards have a meaning because each game shows up on the phone because each person has to choose a phone and it shows a card, and apparently the type of card determines the difficulty and the type of game,
Right.
right? Clubs was what?
I don't know. It's not important.
It's not
What
important.
is important is hearts.
Hearts, yes.
Hearts meant
Betrayal.
of something.
Yeah,
Friends or
friend.
whatever.
It just meant
It's gonna
betrayal.
be, yeah,
Yeah, and most of the times, like
the death game.
death, super
Yeah.
death. All of them are death games. It's just that heart, hearts is all about being betrayed by everyone.
I think that the most important thing from this episode was the tigers, and I
Yes,
wonder why we didn't get more of that later on, because I thought that was a great part. So the tigers turn out to be other people who were just like them playing a game as well,
exactly. And if they fail, they died,
and they did.
and they died.
But we didn't see anything afterwards
That
with
was like that.
people playing games against them,
Hmm.
except for them playing games against each other. And you know what I mean?
Hmm. And the only challenging thing about the actual end of the game is that you needed to have two people to stop the game
Right.
at the end, right? So if you didn't work together with other people, you would have lost because it's not a challenge you could do with one person.
All right.
So they figure out that, and Chichia picks up something after scrambling around the dead tiger's bodies to see if there are any clues or anything. And he finds something, a little sheet of paper that has like squiggles all over it.
Right.
And that is revealed to be. Should we even?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's revealed to be the train line.
The train
that run through that part of Tokyo.
Yes. Let's shelf that for now. So he finds that, and after that episode, back at the where were they hiding out? They were hiding out in the mall. So Karube and Arisu, they have their visas now, so they have a few more days left until they have to play a next game.
Right, but Shibuki and Chota, their final day is coming up, so they need to play a game so that they can extend their visas.
Yes.
And then we move to the next episode where they all head to a game, the four of them, and it is a game of heart.
And the game is... How
the
do you
game
describe it?
is like this. It's a game of hide and seek.
Yes.
It's the sheep. Well, this is what they say. The sheep hide from the wolf. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that the wolf is the one who really needs to hide from the sheep because the wolf is the last survivor and the winner of the game.
Exactly.
Okay?
And because explain how they...
When you make eye contact, they have this VR kind of headset that they were wearing. So when you make eye contact with someone, the wolf changes directly over to that next person. So that happened in the first, well, no, I don't know. So, she wasn't really the first wolf. In any case.
So we have this situation where Shibuki grabs the wolf by shouting at everyone, Mina! And they all look over at her as she gets it and she runs off. They're in a garden, a botanicals garden. So she runs off. Carbo chases after her. Alice chases after her. Chota does something. I don't pay attention to him. Yeah. So the entire episode, eventually Alice gets it, and he keeps it on him because he doesn't want to die, even though he tried to kill himself.
And then he had a great little flashback about how friendship works, and he was all like, "I'm gonna do what I do to save my friends as well." However, he failed, and it was the greatest episode of. It was the greatest episode. It's sad to say, but they end up dying.
Yes, all
Karube, Chota, and Shibuki end up dying. Alice ends up remaining the wolf and winning. Karube's head explodes right in front of...
All the blood gets in his mouth.
It does, and he has this great tears crying scene. It's just beautiful. Yamazaki is a great actor. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
okay, that scene,
that was good.
He was like like his mouth was open, like he
just screaming too.
Exactly. It was beautiful acting.
It was great
for what had happened. It was like the shock of it all, and he couldn't like cope. It was wonderful. Like you can see it. You can see the failure to understand what just happened. You know? Yeah. Anyhow. So then after that,
episode 4.
He's all like, I'm just gonna die.
Episode 4, we are now with Usagi.
No, we don't have to start off how the episode is. I mean, what is wrong with you?
She's who finds him on the ground.
Okay, he's still like, I'm gonna die. It doesn't matter who finds him.
She's
on the ground like... I said she. Alice is in the street like if he is not going to live anymore. He doesn't want to live anymore. Yeah, okay?
He wants to die.
And Usagi comes by and she sees him and she's all like, okay, are you gonna die? And he's all like, yeah. And then she's like, okay. and go about her business.
And then she comes back again. This time
Yeah, and
it's
the rain is
raining.
pouring, and she sees him there, and I guess he was unconscious this time.
He's just there. He's sleeping.
Yeah, I think he was unconscious though.
Sleeping, yeah. Unconscious, whatever you want to call it.
In any case, she drags him to where it is that she's staying and feeds him. And tells
Yeah.
him that
And
something about dying and eating. I don't remember.
you're still gonna get hungry even
Right,
if
right,
you
right.
want to die.
Right,
And
right,
she's
right.
like, well, you still gotta eat.
Basically.
So she convinces him to live, I guess, and they go and to a new game.
Right.
And this is the peak of this show for me. These two episodes, 3 and 4,
Yeah.
are the peak for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright? I really like this game. And you said you like it as well because it's like the game master is really just messing with the people and having fun.
Yeah, for me, it was a comedic episode for me. I don't know about anyone else, but I was like,
This is the
this is whoever it is got fun off of this game. Anyhow, so in this game, they go into a tunnel and it is inside of a bus where they receive the phones and
it
they
says,
meet they're like three other guys.
and they have to go to the goal.
Right.
Right.
They have to go to goal and they're given the game on a game is something it says distance and it's 0. Okay? They think that they need to go somewhere, so they go somewhere.
They run the length of the tunnel, and one guy who was in a. There were 3 guys on the bus.
Right. One of them was injured. He stayed behind.
Yes.
The other 2 went along with Alice and Usagi.
So they run the distance, running through the tunnel, and they come across a water station, and it says replenishment, and they're like, Usagi, she's like,
You
don't
can't
drink.
drink
You
that.
can't drink that. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. And then, and like this, just like this scene, she pulls out her little bit of water
Right,
and
and
gives
she
it to
shares
Alice.
it with Alice.
Right, and then Alice takes it and gives it to
The
the other
next guy.
and then you see her.
She have a death stare. It's like
Like,
you sharing my water. I only sharing my water with you. What is this?
So they don't share any water. They share the water and then they continue without taking replenishments because that's too sketchy as fuck.
Any case, they get to further down in the tunnel. They don't really know where it is that they need to be going.
But they keep running in the tunnel.
Exactly. And no, it's not jaguar, it's a panther. A panther.
Yes.
It's like
in there.
In there.
For some reason, it's just there, and it kills one of them.
It kills one of the guys.
But he also killed it because he had a knife.
Right.
He stabbed it. So that's one guy down.
And the other 3 move forward.
And the other 3 move forward. So they keep running.
Still in the tunnel. Still not knowing what exactly.
No clue what the fuck they're supposed to do. Exactly. They come across a motorcycle and they realize, this motorcycle here.
It runs on gas.
It runs on gas.
Old or something, whatever kind of model, blah, blah, blah.
So we could ride back and get the guy.
Exactly.
So Alice takes it and he's going to roll.
But then he realizes that they can put the gas inside of the
Exactly.
The
they could put the gas from inside the bus inside of that. They think that is part of it. He thinks that's part of it. That we could get this, we could take it back, fill it with gas, and then we could go the rest of the distance. He thinks that's what he's thinking.
The electric vehicles and such don't work.
Exactly.
So that's what they decided to do. So he takes the motorcycle back to the bus and tells Usagi and the other guy to go forward to wherever. All right? Because, anyhow. So they keep going on. Usagi and the other fellow keep going on, and they get to the end of the tunnel.
And it's sealed.
And they're
like,
oh, let's wait here. We'll wait here for the rest of them.
We probably need the bus to ride through. Something like that.
Is what they're thinking.
And they're like, do we need the rest of them or something like that?
Is what they're thinking.
But then we start to hear
No, we start to see things like
we
fly.
start to hear
Like
the metal stretch and pop, and
no,
then the
it was
things fly
first
out.
the
I
the
know
the
the
bolts
bolts,
just
but
flied out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was like one. It's like
I was like, what the hell is
ding,
that?
and then they
I was
look
like,
back,
water?
and the sealed tunnel
How's
is
water? Like
actually
a dam.
a dam behind it, right? So they now have to run from this exploding tunnel because the water pressure is going to definitely
They would die. It was
yeah.
great. I love this whole sequence.
Anyhow, so they try to run away, Usagi and the other guy, and the guy keeps looking back because I don't know. It's not I
It's
don't know
going to
why you
get you
look
if you
back.
keep looking back.
Exactly. You have to stop a little bit and slow down to even look back. Why would you do that?
So he gets got by Mother Nature.
Yes, he
And
did.
Usagi nearly
And
gets got, but
but
somehow.
Alice, the guy that was injured in the bus, and Alice, they are making their way
Uh,
towards the tunnel that is exploding as well.
They.
So they see Usagi, and Alice puts his hand out the bus door, and
And
she
pulls
does
her through.
exactly Matrix. It
Somehow.
was Matrix.
It really was, because
Something there was
they would
happening.
still be fucking dead.
Yeah, but um.
It was an okay sequence. It was fun.
Anyhow, so they he pulls her into the bus, and then the water slams them, and I think that they would be dead, honestly. The pressure of the
The water
water
should
would
have
definitely
destroyed
destroy the
the
bus.
bus, but I guess since the bus is probably reinforced and it's the goal or whatever
Uh-huh.
or whatnot. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Mm.
The reveal at the end is that goal, where they're supposed to go, distance to the goal, 0, meant that they were at the goal.
In the
And
bus.
all they had to do was just wait out the time.
In the bus.
Yeah. Because goal is
Was written on the
scribbled on the
side.
side of the
It wasn't
bus. It
scribbled,
was
it was
graffiti
graffitied very nicely on the side
of
of
the
the
bus.
bus.
Yeah. And the distance 0 meant they were there
Exactly. From the
from the
beginning.
very beginning.
Um,
See, the game was all about messing with what your expectations and whatnot.
yeah, I
Right?
thought that it was a good game.
I like that stuff. That's the thing. I like those clever types of game type
It's
of things.
what do you call it when you try to um divert people's attention?
Misdirect.
Yeah, that's a lot of that was what was happening in this episode.
Yes,
And I like that
and I
because
like that
it was
stuff.
funny.
That was because it was the same way with the first game that they did. The whole which door will lead to your death door, and then figuring out. Well, it's all about using your mind. The death. Some of the other games. Well, we don't really see a lot of games, for this show. After this episode.
Right.
After this
After
episode.
these episode 4, we we
I know,
the
right?
show goes down from there. We kind of
So
I don't even know what to
let's
say.
okay, we have to set this
The
up.
show divulges into
In the
annoyance.
first game that they participated in, they found a walkie-talkie on one of the tigers talking about something called the beach. And Karabe had found it. And he
Right.
had discussed this with Arisu, Shibuku, all of them, and Arisu told Usagi about the same thing, the same beach. So episode 5 is them
In the
hunting down and
beginning.
looking for where this beach place could possibly be.
Right. So they go to actual beaches, but it's not actual beaches. You
Mm-hmm.
know? It's not literally the
They
beach.
eventually realized that people who had the tags like Agony did in the first game are all working together.
All right, they were a group.
They were a
So
group.
they like kind of scoped out other games while their visas were, they
Still up.
had still days on their visas. They would look at people from other games and they saw the tags and they made the connection. So then they followed them and it led them to
A
a
hotel.
hotel um that they had like now been calling beach, the
Yes,
beach.
because of who the guy who runs it is.
Right. So it turns out that the beach is,
ran by a guy who is
I wasn't going to say it was run by. I was just going to say it's a group of the players, or let's say it's an
of
organization of the
players
players,
trying to
people who
figure
have
out.
also been disappeared into this world. They're all working together, and there's probably more than 100, 200 of them in the
Yes.
beginning.
And it's run by Hatter.
Right.
Literally,
His
his
name
name
is
is
Hatter.
Hatter.
That's what they
That's what
call
it's
him.
called him. And he was actually a
Um,
Hatter in real
I
life
mean, his name is Takeru, but they call him Hatter.
because he was a
He
Hatter.
was a Hatter, exactly.
See, so we have Alice, we have the rabbit, and we have the Hatter
And the Cheshire Cat.
and the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah. So Hatter, his goal and all the people's goal is to gather all of the cards and then
Leave.
maybe, hopefully, one person,
We
because
don't know where that came from. That
yeah,
whole one
that
person
was
can only
made
leave.
up.
Yeah.
That was made up. Um, so that's their theory though, that one person would be able to leave and they'll keep collecting cards and people be able to leave after that and after that until, well, I guess everyone has left.
Alongside with Hatter, there are these other people called the militants who control the weapons, and they're run by
Agony.
Agony. So, because since he was an ex SDF dude, so they're
Right.
the weapons dudes. So of course, they're more cliche and lame and more
In any case,
boring.
let's just get this whole beach thing over, because all the every other episode from episode 5 to episode 8 is about the beach. So take it away, Chris.
You want to just speed through it?
Speed through, yeah.
Okay. So the beach Hatter some reason likes Arisu. The reason why we figure out that he likes Arisu is because Arisu was part of a heart game.
Just say Alice.
Alice. Right, Alice was part of a heart game. And heart games are normally the hardest ones to solve because they involve betrayal of maybe comrades or whatever.
Usually
And
only
it,
one person actually survives.
exactly. And Alice being someone who survives it, he's saying, this guy might be smart. So they have him in a test. The other girl that works with Hatter, the forensics lady,
Right.
right?
I don't remember her
They do
name.
the tests where they are like, what was it? It was the whole
They were
light
in the
bulb test. Light
water
bulb test.
and they had to turn on the light bulb as the room fills.
Yes, with water or not, they'll get electrocuted.
Right.
And you can only turn on the light once while you look at it, and you look at that one time you only with the door open for the light. I'm describing this terribly. Anywho, so
In
they
any
test him. They
case,
just test him. They realize that he's smart. Oh my goodness, he's smart. So we want him to be an executive for some reason, right? Agony doesn't like him. Agony is in control of the militants because they're far more. He's supposed to be there to take care of the crazy people. So he's like the commander of all the crazy people. He
is
keeps
that how
them
it
in.
was?
That was it.
Oh.
That's what his purpose was supposed to be. But I guess Agony got too big for his britches, and he wanted to take over. And Hatter needed to get his visa redone. So he goes, and then Hatter dies. And then Agony takes over. I'm skipping out so much
I
because I
know,
hate the
it's
beach.
great. I
I
hate the
fucking
beach
hate the
too. I
beach,
hate
okay?
it
I
too.
hate everything that the beach represents because it's so fucking cliched and boring, and there's no more interesting games.
Right. We
It's just
skipped to
politics in the beach
right.
and people and edgelords with swords and guns waving them about and
Yeah.
being stupid and dumb and boring.
In any case,
Ugh.
Hatter needs to renew his visa. He goes to a game. He actually survived the
And
game,
then
but
find the
then
reveal.
him and Agony
Agony. Yeah.
are like they went back to check out wherever it was that he used to be. He used to be a host at a place called the beach as well.
That's why he named the place
Right,
the
right,
beach.
right. So
And Agony was they're like best buds and whatnot.
right,
And
right.
Agony was like, Hatter is getting crazy because apparently Hatter had killed people just because they kept cards
Yeah.
from him. And Agony as his name was going through agony because he
Yes.
couldn't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
And Hatter tries to kill him, and Agony defends himself and kills Hatter.
Right. So then um stuff happens, and then there's this last game that they have to that everyone at
They
the
get shot. A whole bunch of events happen.
yeah, we're not
They tied
they're
up.
not interesting enough to talk about.
Alice gets tied up for some reason, even though they should have killed him if they considered him traitor. One of the crazy guys tries to rape Usagi.
Oh right, we should
Right?
have talked about that. So
I don't.
Chishia and I think I can do
Yeah,
it quickly, okay? Chishia and Kuina, who we
another
didn't
girl that's
speak
there.
about, they are like wanting to kind of, I don't know, team up
And grab
with
all the cards from the beach.
right. So they let Alice and Usagi in on what it is that they're gonna do. So they have this plan and they carry it out. When Agony is not inside of his room or whatever it is, they look for the safe because that's where you'll find all of the cards.
But it was a
La la
trap.
la stuff happens. It turns out to be a chat by Chishia because he actually wanted to find out where the actual safe was.
Exactly.
And he does find out, but because Alice was the one that was caught, he is then taken and he's like beaten up. No idea why they didn't just kill him.
Because he's the main character and the main
Not a
character
main
needs to
character. He is
live.
the main
It
character.
is so dumb.
It's dull. They could
Because
have done something else.
they're shown that because the beach has three rules and the third rule is death to traitors and they didn't kill him.
Right. So then Usagi is taken and she is nearly raped. And then that is when the next and last game begins. The last game starts at the beach. It takes place at the beach. I'm
And
not
they're
sure why a game has never happened at the beach when
because
the
they
game
mentioned this.
masters probably know that they're all there.
Like I said, the game master was waiting for a bunch of people to gather together so that they could destroy them.
And that is exactly what happened. So it turns out that this girl got stabbed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
You
you
need
have
to
to
find
find
the
out who the
witch
witch was that killed her.
and burn her.
And then the whole thing really turns into everybody killing each other because they
The
don't
militants
believe
killing
anything.
people and just instead of trying to figure out who the witch is, it's much faster to just kill people and start burning them.
Right. So that's what they do. Bunches of people die. Anyhow, we get to
Alice is
the
still tied up, by the way. He stays tied
oh,
up for a long
it was
fucking
two
time. It
episodes.
was like two episodes. Or like an
Um,
episode. He got tied up at the end of episode 6 or episode 7.
excuse
At the
me.
end of episode 6, all the way to like the end of episode, or the end, yeah, end of episode 8, or close to the middle of episode 8.
Oh,
Ugh.
everyone starts to get a flashback towards the end, and it was the worst ever. It
It was. I hated it because the people who got flashbacks were the two crazy evil assholes, and it was all about characterizing how they became who they are. And it's like I don't
don't care.
care.
Don't
I
care.
really don't care about the Edge Lord, how he got his tattoos. I don't care about the Edge Lord who's literally killing people and attempted to rape Usagi because he was just evil. I don't care how he got that way. He wasn't compelling before, and characterizing him and showing us how he became who he became. It does nothing for me.
Right. La
Fuck
la di boo
off.
boo. La la di boo boo. Usagi gets away, finds other people. The other people help her find and search for Alice.
Alice.
They find Alice, they untie Alice, they get Alice, and he's like, oh, we need to find out who it is, blah blah blah. Stuff happens, they find out who it was. It turns out that it was the girl herself that stabbed herself because she couldn't take it. And
It is
what actually
revealed.
is revealed by one of the girls that was with her, is that they were working with the people who actually set up the game. So she, to stop all of the madness and everybody from killing each other in agony, all like everybody, I'm the witch, I'm the witch. She screams out, I'm the dealer, and then she gets zapped to death
Yeah, by the game.
by the game. And yeah, so it turns out that the girl who killed herself was the witch. Then they burn her, and we move on from there. They take her phone. They take the girls' phones because it was a different phone to the ones that they used to play the game. And on there, they see the video that the girls took, and it shows of them this place
Yeah, in the
where it
like in
was
the
like people
subway,
were taking bets on
and
the
laughing at
game
people in
and
the games and stuff like
laughing
that.
and all kind of stuff was happening.
So they
um
try to figure out where to go, and they
they go there and all the people are dead actually.
already dead. And then they find
Chishia and Queen are
the
actually
fucking
there as
backstabbing
well.
bastards. They also survived the beach, and they're
Right,
there.
they only backstabbed them for a moment.
Still backstabbing
Right,
bastards.
right, but moving on. Anyhow, um
Garbage.
then the lady, one of the lady who was one of the executives, her face pops up on the screen, and I had said that she had looked
Sketchy
suspicious
as
as
shit.
well. It turns out that she might be
Yeah.
the game master
Yes.
of this
One
whole
of
thing
them.
who put all of this stuff together. And yeah,
Talking about how there's plenty more games to play. And since all the deck cards, the face cards are found, all that's left now is the
no, not the
not the
face
face
card.
cards.
All the number
All the
cards were
number
found,
cards are
so
found.
now it's the face
Face
cards that
cards.
need to be found. So then we see all of these huge face cards flying around from Zeppelin, blimps, whatever you want to call it, in the sky, and new games we're guessing are starting, and it's just
And that's the end
the
of
end.
the season.
So
We
let me
skipped a lot
see.
of crap, but like I
Yeah.
said, it's crap.
Like people escaping reality at the beach, they were dancing and partying and drinking and having sex and doing drugs and doing whatever.
The only person who was interesting from the beach was the forensic science lady, because she seemed
Exactly.
to be had her head on. I hated the beach.
They did
It
too.
really. I was interested up to episode 4. I was like, okay, I'm interested to see where this is
It
going to
lowered the
go.
quality of the show.
And then the beach happens, and I'm like, I
Mm.
don't care about any of this. Like, I understand. I like the idea of having a group who's looking for the cards or whatever. That's great. That's fantastic.
But then there was all this
The
palace politics going on
Yeah, the
between
militants
Agony and
and
between
Agony and the Hatter.
Hatter. We just,
It just it just tired me out.
yeah.
You know?
In any case, it became a big annoyance and became quite boring, and
Yeah.
trivial things
The
really
only
were just
thing
happening. It's just
the
wasn't
only thing that was
anything, nothing
interesting
important was happening.
the only thing that was important at the beach was that they found out about dealers and the thing that the girl left behind.
Exactly, the
The
recording.
recording. That was the important part. That was what was supposed to happen. I
In any case, I keep saying in any case, whatever. We watched the show. Overall, it's quite boring.
yeah.
After you get past, no, it's slow
It's slow.
and it's boring.
Yeah.
So it's not like you haven't seen one of these death game things
If you
before.
haven't seen, I'd say give it a watch.
No, I wouldn't. There are better ones.
There are better ones.
This one is kind of lower mid.
Yeah. It it really does reach episode 4 really is
The
the
pinnacle.
pinnacle, and then from episode 5, 6, 7, 8 for the other half of the show it was just so utterly tedious.
Yeah.
I understand what they're trying to show with the whole people come together and they fall apart or they go crazy because they're in this place or whatever. But at the same time, it was just uninteresting.
Honestly, it could have happened faster probably in just two
Yeah,
episodes, and then we could have gotten more information. But the show also lacked substance at times because it was just low. Is low the
I
word?
don't know. I would have rather
It feels a
preferred.
lot of the time like nothing was happening.
I don't know. I would have preferred if Usagi and Alice, after playing a couple of games, started to figure out maybe a pattern of some sort, you know, just showing them maybe so or maybe meet up with Chushia again and he give them a clue about something versus just remove all the beach stuff or have a group but don't let it to be that big of an like part of the show.
Right.
It just I don't know, it just way bogged down any interest I have in actually continuing or even going and reading the manga, funny enough. Because if this is a direct adaptation,
If it is,
I
I don't want to
I
watch.
don't
I don't
want
want
to
to read
read
it.
it. Like I really don't. I'm not interested. But if they took some liberties, maybe. But I just the beach sucked.
Yeah.
It really just sucked all interest I had
Oh,
out
the
of the show.
last part here, where what's his name? Alice looks into Agony's
All
eyes and
right,
he
and tells
says,
them.
"I can tell from your eyes." Anyhow, we're not going to talk about it anymore. It was not the best. It was.
Not the worst thing I've seen. The production quality is great. I
It is.
hated I hated the soundtracks for it, but
Right. They kept
the
replaying a certain song a
the
couple of times.
cinematography was fine. The acting was great. It wasn't well. The acting was fine. I didn't have an issue with how the characters. I understand how some characters their introduction was kind of meh, but at the end I'm like, oh, okay, I understand. I understand. He's slowly going crazy. He's always been crazy. He's dead on the inside.
Blah 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 stuff happened and that
That's
is the end. Um,
how much would you give this on a numerical scale?
a 5.5?
5.5. A
I
half
don't
no.
give halves a 5.
Yeah, 5. It isn't. I want to say. I don't want to. It's just the pacing and
Too slow.
the story sequence. Just like it was a 7 up to episode 4.
Yeah, it was.
And then it just
Died.
bored the living fuck out of me.
Yeah. It's slow, it's boring, there's nothing really happening, no substance. And
Stuff is
then
happening, but
we
it just
fall
isn't interesting.
into uninteresting
Like
stuff.
they're
Okay, could we stop talking about it? You keep kind of talking about
okay,
it. It's
yeah,
like,
fair
could we
enough.
just end it, please?
Yes.
Right then, everyone. So that was our review of Alice in Borderland. Good night.
Good night, everyone.